Today on ELN Morning.
A continued call to action, while some demonstrators are still marching in Graham.
Sweet Salesman, how a father-son team are serving helpings of honey while helping the bees.
And chilling out, we've got more on the surprise cold snap bringing a chill to campus this morning.
Today, April 22nd, 2021.
This is ELN Morning. Good morning and welcome to ELN Morning. I'm Ellis Chandler.
And I'm Isabella Seaman. Thank you so much for joining us on this Earth Day.
Local organizers are honoring George Floyd after the verdict in the murder trial of Derek Chauvin. Chauvin was convicted Tuesday on 2 counts of murder and 1 count of manslaughter in the death of George Floyd. Even though the trial is now over, some feel like the fight for justice is just getting started. Our Maeve Ashbrook went to Graham and spoke with protesters demanding change.
I have no other choice but to be out here and fight to try to get things changed.
Gathered in front of the Confederate monument, now surrounded by over $32,000 worth of fencing, protesters in Alamance County are still fighting.
We still have issues that we need to focus on. Here in Alamance, it's one of the worst places in the entire country, if you ask me, if you ask a lot of people out here.
After the verdict in the murder trial of George Floyd, protesters here at this bi-weekly protest say it's even more important.
We're really pleased with the verdict, but it's only a start to the work we have to do.
Protester Christopher Loy says even though it was the outcome he hoped for, he doesn't think it will help solve the problems in Alamance County.
We're going to need to have major change here. Something happening halfway across the country isn't going to make a whole lot of difference, when we're still in, a dinky little town that, thinks it's still like 1956 or something.
The protest Wednesday night followed a Tuesday court settlement stating the county cannot prohibit demonstrations at the monument. The lawsuit was originally filed by the NAACP against the city of Graham, the Alamance County Commissioners, and Alamance County Sheriff Terry Johnson. Alamance County resident Janet Nesbitt says it's the fight against racism and this week the verdict in the trial that keep her coming back to the protests.
I think that this is just the beginning.
Maeve Ashbrook, ELN Morning.
Occupy Graham, the group who organizes these bi-weekly protests, says it's holding a vigil on Saturday at the Monument for Victims of Police Brutality.
And following that verdict in Derek Chauvin's trial, many students have expressed relief about the outcome. Take a look.
I am happy with the verdict. I think it's time for something like this to happen. I mean, people have been waiting for something like this to happen for a long time.
Just the feeling of relief of us getting some justice was very satisfying.
I was glad that finally someone was held accountable, but it's just the first step in a long process.
I want to see everybody who's been wrongly killed or wrongly convicted to get justice as soon as possible.
The work has to go on. There's a lot of emphasis on what people are saying now after the decision, but that's something we all have to reflect on. I don't really have an easy answer for that.
People should be held accountable for when they do wrong, and people should not fear leaving their homes and going on the streets. It's that simple, I think.
Chauvin is set to receive his sentence in about 8 weeks in the second week of June.
North Carolina expects to lift nearly all restrictions related to the coronavirus pandemic on June 1st. Governor Roy Cooper announced yesterday that capacity and gathering limits will mostly be lifted. At that point, Cooper says he hopes masks will only be required for people in public indoor spaces.
Although we're making progress, we haven't beaten COVID-19 yet, and the virus will still be with us even after June the 1st. So we need to keep being responsible.
Governor's announcement comes as more people are getting vaccinated. As of today, the CDC is reporting 40% of the total population has received at least their first dose, while over 26% of the total population is fully vaccinated. Right now on campus, there are 7 active cases of the coronavirus, with 36 students in quarantine.
There will be no extra tickets available for this year's commencement ceremonies. Each student will be allotted 2 tickets for guests. According to the Executive Director of Cultural and Special Programs, Jeffrey Clark, Commencement will be held at the Schar Center, which will be at full capacity within the state's COVID-19 guidelines.
Make a friend with another student who maybe doesn't need a ticket. That's the best advice I can give at this point, because we don't have the luxury of seats to be able to add people and make more seats available.
Clark says even if the state and town guidelines change, the university is unlikely to sell more tickets. ELN senior James DiBiase says while he was surprised that graduation is in person, he wishes everyone who wants to attend could.
I could see that being an issue, if you have multiple siblings or other family members you really want to be there. I feel like that's kind of unfair not having them be a part of it.
Seating assignments will be based on when seniors pick up their tickets. If you're graduating and you want a good seat for your guests, Clark says to pick up your tickets at the earliest convenience. Tickets will be available at the Schar Center box office beginning May 3rd.
Coming up, how you can reduce your carbon footprint on campus.
See on board that the projections need to be flood next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As 420 is now behind us and public support increases, North Carolina House Democrats are working this week to change the state's marijuana laws. Most states have legalized medical marijuana, but North Carolina House Democrats are looking to take it one step further as they introduce legislation to fully legalize weed, allowing anyone over the age of 21 to buy, sell, consume, and even grow the plant. Politically speaking, legalizing medical marijuana is starting to receive more bipartisan, or in this case, joint support. As we wait to see how this takes shape, here is something to keep in mind. Unlike legalization, decriminalization would not allow marijuana dispensaries to open and begin selling pot. Those caught with small amounts would still get in legal trouble, but cases would be more handled like a standard traffic ticket in place of criminal charges. For continuous updates on the legislation, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
Today is Earth Day, and people around the world are celebrating going green. Our Emery Eisner found out what students can do to shrink their carbon footprint and help keep the environment safe.
One of the main ways to celebrate Earth Day is to take part in green initiatives that can reduce your personal carbon emissions or carbon footprint. While some ELN students take sustainability seriously,
carpool places as opposed to
ELN Dining is also celebrating Earth Day with a special event outside of Lakeside Dining Hall tonight. From 4 to 8 p.m. today, students can use an extra meal swipe for access to the food and live music. Lakeside and McEwing dining halls will be closed during the event, but Clowen will remain open.
The Authentically Alamance Farmers Market at ELN Community Church is back for the spring. Every Thursday, Mike's Local Honey and Produce is selling at the market for another season. Our Mackenzie Wilkes has the story.
With spring arriving, one local business is getting some buzz.
honey. My favorite part of the whole process is eating the honey.
Father-son duo Mike and Charlie Ross run Mike's Local Honey and Produce. For over 15 years, they've been raising bees and selling honey. Charlie learned the trade from his dad. He says it's all about taking care of the needs of the bees.
Looking after the bees and being a steward of the bees, that's really what Mike is doing with Mike's Local Honey. My dad's being a steward of the bees, and he's making sure that they have everything that they need throughout the year, and in return, they provide a little something for us as well.
Bee specialist and North Carolina State University professor David Tarpey says a steward of the bees manages the population.
Honeybee colony populations are not declining. In fact, since CCD, we have more honeybee colonies now than we did 10 years ago. The problem with honeybees is that the colonies are dying off at an unsustainable rate, right? Beekeepers are managing them and growing them, and then they die off from diseases and all sorts of problems, and then they grow them back.
One use of honey this spring is for allergies. Pollen counts in the state are on the rise, and the pollen count for grass and weeds this year was highest on April 13th and for trees on April 5th. AccuWeather projects pollen counts to peak in late spring.
You get pure raw honey, it's already got the pollen in the nectar it's in the honey, but it's the bees have already treated it, if that makes any sense. But it gives your body an idea of what's in the environment.
Mackenzie Wilkes, ELN Morning.
And you can visit the Mike's Local Honey and Produce booth at the Farmers Market outside the Elon Community Church between 3 and 6 p.m. today.
We've got some rain on the way. I'll tell you when to expect it right after this.
I'm reading the in and out for weather.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road chip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Well, our evening broadcast anchor Brian Ray joins us live under the oaks now with the Phoenix 5-day forecast.
Brian, good morning. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Bella. Well, the sun is out, the sky is blue, but don't be deceived. It's only about 45 degrees right now, so definitely a chilly start to our day, especially for late April. Here's a look around Elon, though. Things are looking beautiful, definitely showing off here for Earth Day, and today's high is going to reach 60 degrees. Similar thing for tomorrow, high at around 65 with sunny skies. But moving ahead to Saturday, it's going to start raining at around 9 a.m. and carry out throughout the day, so you may want to stay inside, make some indoor plans, maybe do some spring cleaning. Moving on to early next week, though, things are going to warm up. You can see some highs in the mid-70s, even reaching the low 80s on Tuesday. So thankfully, things are going to warm up for us. Maybe just a bump in the road today with this chilly day. But Bella and Ellis, back to you.
Brian Ray, thank you so much. And Ellis, I had to wear my winter jacket this morning.
I know. I thought we're near the end of April. It's normally shorts and t-shirt weather by now. I'm not 100% sure.
But it does look like it's going to warm up, which is a really, really good sign because I know everyone's looking to get outside, especially with the allergies like we learned in the honey package. They're going to start going down a little bit, and maybe I'll go to the farmer's market today.
I've had a season full of sneezing, but I am very much ready to be done with all of this.
Absolutely, and it is Earth Day. So definitely get outside and definitely go enjoy that weather. But that's all that we have for you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
For all the news you need to know when we're not on the air, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And be sure to follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
Have a great Thursday, Elon.